It was February 14th, Valentine's Day. The air was thick with the scent of roses and cheap chocolate, but all I could think about was seeing Clara. We'd been dating for 6 months, and this was our first Valentine's together. I had a reservation at a fancy Italian place, a goofy, oversized teddy bear buckled into my passenger seat, and a flutter in my chest that had nothing to do with nerves and everything to do with excitement. I pulled up to her little cottage-style house, the one with the charmingly crooked porch swing. The lights were on, casting a warm, inviting glow. I grabbed the bear and the single red rose I'd bought, practically skipping to the door. I knocked, expecting her to fling it open and jump into my arms, but there was no answer. I knocked again, louder this time. "Clara, honey, it's me." Finally, the lock clicked. The door creaked open just a sliver. Clara's face appeared in the gap, but it wasn't the face I was expecting. Her usually bright, sparkling eyes were wide and vacant, dark circles pooled beneath them like bruises. Her skin, normally rosy and warm, was pale and clammy. "Clara, are you okay?" I asked, my smile faltering. She just stared at me for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then, a slow, strange smile spread across her lips. It didn't reach her eyes. "You came," she whispered, her voice raspy, unfamiliar. She opened the door wider to let me in. The moment I stepped inside, a chill went right through me, the kind that has nothing to do with the winter air. The house, usually so cozy and filled with the scent of her vanilla candles, was cold and smelled damp, like a cellar that hadn't been opened in 100 years. The lights were dim, flickering erratically. "Happy Valentine's Day," I said, trying to force some cheer into my voice as I held out the bear and rose. She took them, but her fingers were like ice against mine. She didn't thank me. She just dropped them onto a nearby chair without a second glance. My heart sank a little. Maybe she was just having a bad day. "Are you feeling all right? You look tired," I said, reaching out to touch her forehead. She flinched away from my hand so sharply it was like I'd tried to burn her. "I'm fine," she said, her voice flat. "I made dinner." She led me into the dining room. The table was set, but it was wrong. 2 plates, 2 sets of silverware, but they were covered in a thin layer of dust. The centerpiece was a vase of withered, blackened flowers. In the center of each plate was a single raw, uncooked steak. The sight of the pale, marbled meat made my stomach turn. "Clara, what is this?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She turned to me and that strange, empty smile was back. "It's a special dinner, for a special day." She pulled out a chair for me. The movement was stiff, jerky, like a marionette being pulled by unseen strings. I hesitated, an alarm bell screaming in my head. I'm not really hungry," I stammered. "Maybe we should just go to the restaurant. Our reservation is in an hour." Her smile vanished. Her face contorted into a mask of pure fury. "Sit down," she hissed, the words guttural, animalistic. It wasn't Clara's voice. It was deeper, harsher, something ancient and full of malice. My blood ran cold. This wasn't Clara. Something was terribly, horribly wrong. I slowly sat, my hands trembling under the table. She sat opposite me, her eyes fixed on mine. They weren't just vacant anymore. They were filled with a predatory darkness. We sat in silence for what felt like an eternity. The only sounds were the frantic beating of my own heart and the house groaning around us. Then, she picked up her fork and knife. The scraping sound of the metal against the plate was like nails on a chalkboard. She began to saw at the raw meat, her movements clumsy but forceful. She didn't look down at her plate. She just kept staring at me, a rivulet of drool trickling from the corner of her mouth. "You know," she said, that horrible, deep voice echoing in the silent room. "She was so excited to see you." What are you talking about?" I whispered, my own voice barely audible. "Clara," the thing wearing Clara's face said, its lips twisting. "She loves you so much. She talked about you all the time, your smile, the way you hold her hand. It was nauseating. It lifted a piece of the raw steak on its fork and brought it towards its mouth. I couldn't watch. I squeezed my eyes shut. I heard a wet, tearing sound. When I opened them, she was chewing, blood smearing her pale lips. "Don't you want to eat?" it asked, gesturing to my plate with the bloody fork. "She picked it out just for you." I had to get out. I pushed my chair back, the legs screeching against the floor. "I have to go," I said, my voice shaking uncontrollably. "I'm sorry, Clara, I have to go." I turned to run, but in a blur of motion she was across the table, her hands grabbing my shirt. Her strength was unnatural, inhuman. Her icy fingers dug into my shoulders like talons. "You're not going anywhere," it snarled, its face inches from mine. "The party is just getting started." Suddenly, her head snapped back at an impossible angle, a sickening crack echoing through the room. A scream ripped from her throat, but it wasn't the deep, guttural voice from before. It was Clara's. A scream of pure, unadulterated terror and agony. It was the sound of someone being torn apart from the inside. "Get it out!" she shrieked, her own voice finally breaking through. "Make it leave! Please, get it out of me!" Her body began to convulse violently, her limbs flailing. She threw me against the wall with impossible strength. I scrambled to my feet, my mind reeling in panic. Her eyes rolled back into her head, and the deep, malevolent voice returned, laughing. It was a cold, cruel sound that seemed to suck all the warmth from the room. "She's still in here," it cackled. "Fighting. It's so much fun." Then, it stopped laughing. Its head slowly straightened. It looked at me, its eyes black pits of nothingness. "You," it whispered. "You're the one she cares about. If I can't have her, no one can." It lunged. I dodged, stumbling back into the hallway. All I could think was door. I had to get to the door. I fumbled with the lock, my fingers slick with sweat. Behind me, I heard the sound of furniture splintering, a roar of inhuman rage. The lock finally clicked. I threw the door open and didn't look back. I sprinted to my car, my lungs burning, Clara's real, terrified screams mixing with the demonic laughter in my head. I jumped in, started the engine, and peeled out of her driveway, the tires squealing in protest. In my rearview mirror, I saw her standing in the doorway. The porch light flickered over her face. One moment the terrified girl I loved, the next a grinning, blood-smeared monster. The oversized teddy bear I had brought her lay in a heap on the porch, its head torn clean off. I drove all night, not knowing where I was going, just needing to put as much distance as possible between me and that house. I never saw Clara again. The police found her a week later. They said she had simply vanished. But I know what happened. I know what took her. And every Valentine's Day, when I see couples holding hands and exchanging gifts, I don't feel love. I feel a cold, creeping dread. And I hear that awful, echoing laughter. It reminds me that some doors, once opened, can never be closed again.